then falling back to sleep into the same web of disease and deceit. Reliving the shock and disgust on her fiancé's face when he saw her rail thin and bald, coldly breaking off the engagement by telling her he didn't want to watch her die. The look of frustration on Cyrus Parks's face and his matter-of-fact dismissal of her illness, explaining it away as a flaw in her system and chalking her up as another failed experiment. She woke up bathed in sweat as Cyrus was walking out the door of her hospital room. She threw back the covers in anger. When she was at her weakest and sickest, they threw her away like food gone bad, and it was rage that kicked in her own will to live. She stomped into the kitchen to get a cold Pepsi, wanting the bad taste of that memory gone, and drank it in the middle of the kitchen, remembering how she'd healed herself in a way she didn't even fully understand, accepting as she finally calmed down that once in a great while she was doomed to relive the death and downfall of Jade Wyrick, and the resurrection of the woman she was now. And because she finally went back to bed after the Pepsi, she overslept. Now she just needed to get to the office before Charlie Dodge, or she'd never hear the end of it. Finally, the office building came into view, and she sped through the last half-mile without once tapping the brakes, skidded into her own parking place, and breathed a sigh of relief that Charlie's parking spot was still empty. "That's what I'm talking about," she muttered as she grabbed her things and got out on the run. Within minutes of opening the office, she had coffee on, with a box of sweet rolls she'd picked up this morning plated beneath the glass dome in the coffee bar, and had both of their computers up and running. She was going through the morning email when Charlie walked in, but she refused to look up. She knew what she looked like. She'd spent precious time this morning making sure she looked fierce because she felt so damn wounded from the dreams. "Bear claws under glass," she muttered. "Teenager missing in the Chisos Mountains in Big Bend. Are you interested?" Charlie was used to Wyrick's outrageous fashion sense and refused to be shocked by the black starbursts she'd painted around her eyes, the blood drop she'd painted at the corner of her mouth, the red leather catsuit, or the black knee-high boots she was wearing. But he was interested in the sugar crunch of bear claws and kids who went missing. "Yes, to both," he said as he sauntered past. "Send me the stats on the missing kid and get the parents in here for details. They're due here at 10:30. He paused, then turned around, his eyes narrowing. "Why do you even ask me what I want?" "You're the boss," Wyrick said. "I know that. I just didn't know you did," he mumbled, and stopped at the coffee bar. He filled a cup with coffee, put a bear claw on a napkin, and strode into his office. By the time he had his jacket hanging in the closet, his Stetson on the hat tree, and a third bite of bear claw in his belly, he was ready to cope with the day and pulled up the email about the missing teenager. Tony Dawson, 17 years old. Disappeared in Chisos Mountains of Big Bend National Park while backpacking with Randall Wells and Justin Young, 2 friends from school. Boys wake to find Tony gone. Think he walked back down alone due to an argument from the night before. But when they packed up and walked down, Tony Dawson's truck was still in the parking lot at the Chisos Mountain Lodge, and he was nowhere to be found. 2-day air and foot search yielded no clues. Charlie was still reading when he heard the door open in the outer office, and then heard a man's voice, followed by Wyrick's responses. "I need to talk to Charlie Dodge." "Your name?" "Darrell Boyington." "Have a seat, Mr. Boyington." Boyington smoothed a hand over his hair, absently patting it in place, and then sat. Wyrick picked up the phone and buzzed Charlie's office. "I heard him," Charlie said. "Does he have an appointment?" "No, sir." "The Dawsons are due here any time, and I'm not going to keep them waiting for a walk-in. Schedule an appointment for him."